Greetings and welcome to From the Top, Building Operational Capacity Through Training. In this session, we'll focus on university financials and the finance data warehouse. By the end of this training, you'll be able to read and interpret chart field strings, navigate the Common Financial System, configure financial reports, and export data for further use. Every financial transaction needs a destination. That destination is determined by something called a chart field string. A chart field string is made up of smaller components, or chart fields, each one describing a piece of the transaction. Chart field strings allow us to accurately track and trace financial activity across all university financials. Ultimately, they form what can be thought of as the fiscal GPS coordinates of the university's financial system. Each chart field answers a specific question. For the account code, it's what is the transaction? The fund code, where is the money coming from? The department ID, who owns the transaction? The program code, what purpose or activity does the transaction support? The class code, what internal category or tracking use does the transaction have? And the project code answering, is the transaction tied to a specific project or grant? In everyday use, people sometimes confuse account and fund. Remember, the account is the type of transaction, while the fund is the source of the money. Getting the fund and department ID correct ensures transactions land in the right place. Program codes are optional, but are frequently used for initiatives that span departments. Project codes are optional as well, but are frequently used within academic affairs to tag funding received from other parts of the CSU through interagency fund transfers. Ultimately, think of chart field strings as plotting the course for each transaction, and the Common Financial System as the place where those transactions reach their destination. Access to the finance data warehouse starts through the Common Financial System, or CFS. To get there, you'll need to head to the CSU CFS portal. Once there, you'll select Finance Data Warehouse Login from the menu on the left. Afterwards, you'll need to sign in using your campus credentials with Duo authentication. After logging in, you'll land on the main CFS page. From here, select Financial Reporting and then Financial Summary as of period in the menu at the top. The report we'll be using is the Financial Summary as of period report. This report shows activity for a given fiscal year up to a selected accounting period. Each period represents 1 month of the fiscal year, with July being period 1 and the following June being period 12. In the end, this report is great at answering the fundamental question, how is our spending to date? To begin, we'll set 3 basic but fundamental filters. Select EBCMP as the business unit, choose revenues and expenditures as account types, and select the standard budget ledger. These steps ensure the report focuses on the correct part of the ledger. Next, we'll set the time frame by selecting a fiscal year and accounting period. Finally, the middle and last row of this top section of the report will allow us to further refine our reporting by either including or excluding chosen chart fields. As an example, I've set the filters to the following chart field string. When run, the default reporting view at the bottom reveals the result. This report returns 3 key fiscal measures by default: current budget, which is the planned use or limit; actuals, which is the result of posted transactions; and encumbrances, which are commitments of use through requisitions or POs. There are 2 additional metrics that are also present: balance available, which is what remains after subtracting actuals and encumbrances from current budget; and percent used, which is how much of the budget has been utilized so far. It's common for transactions to land in a place that is close to a given chart field string, but not quite correct. Here, we can see actuals posted to a chart field string containing the correct account code, fund code, and department ID, but the remainder of the chart field string is missing. This is a routine issue that leads us to learning how to trace the path of money in the ledger by using different reporting views. The reporting view allows customization of which chart fields display as columns. Each selector above the data controls one of those columns. FDesker values will provide descriptions of the codes being used. Be sure to press OK after making changes, or the view won't refresh. By refining the report columns, the data now tells a clearer story, showing each detail by full chart field string. Once configured, the report can be saved for reuse. Doing so will save everything you have configured. While saved reports are indeed convenient, you'll need to remember to update the fiscal year and accounting period filters at the start of a new fiscal year. At some point, you'll likely want to export report data for further analysis. By default, the Finance Data Warehouse provides two export options for each report: formatted exports and data exports. Formatted exports reflect what you see by keeping on-screen layout. These are useful for sharing or printing, such as with PDFs. Data exports produce text files with just data and no formatting. Preferable amongst the options is a plain CSV file, perfect for Excel. To get a CSV download, you'll click Export at the bottom, hover over Data in the pop-up menu, and then select CSV. Before downloading, it's important to keep a few things in mind. Your export will only include the data that's visible in your current filters and view, so make sure everything is set the way you want it. Also, CFS limits exports to about 150,000 records, which means you may need to narrow your filters to avoid missing information. And finally, be patient. Big downloads can take a while, especially in the middle of the day since the entire CSU shares the system, so go ahead and grab a coffee while you wait. Before ending our time together, here are some closing thoughts about some things you may notice or come across in your financial reports. Red isn't always bad, it's just loud. In the budget column, a red value indicates a deficit or less funding. In the actuals column, a red value indicates a credit or surplus or more funding. In the end, always remember to read red values within the context of the account code. Benefits are managed by central administration, so it can be helpful to filter them out when working with certain funds, like EB001. To filter them out, you can use a not filter for the account category and set it to 603. Misaligned chart field strings are common and can hamper your ability to see the true balance available or budget used. To sleuth this issue, select only the fund and department ID when reporting. This lets you see the true fund use at the core of the chart field string by focusing on the source and who owns the transaction. Hopefully this training has helped you feel more confident exploring CFS and understanding how financial data comes together in the Finance Data Warehouse. If you're feeling a little daring, here are a few things to try next. In the reporting view, you can drill down into transactions by clicking a value. This takes you to a new screen where all the individual transactions that make up that total will be displayed. You'll want to bring a lot of patience for this one. Often, there can be hundreds, if not thousands, of transactions to load. Account codes are part of a larger structure called the account hierarchy. Take a moment to explore account type and account category to see how this structure works from high to low level. And finally, the advanced filters lets you explore reports through different departmental hierarchies. This one can be a little tricky, so give yourself time to get familiar with it. Especially important here is that you compare results to those that you know to be accurate, as it's pretty easy to make a small mistake with the advanced filters and get curious results. And with that, we've reached the end of this session of From the Top. You've learned how to plot the course with chart field strings, navigate the financial landscape through CFS, and bring the picture into focus with reports you can configure and export for further use. Until we meet again, remember to practice what you've learned and perform it with purpose.